There's a famous quote which says that your mindset writes your future. And if you believe you can, you're halfway through. The famous sports icon, Virat Kohli, is a perfect example of embracing the change. Starting his professional journey back in 2008, Virat Kohli has started his career with a bang. But somewhere in 2012, he had one of the worst years in his professional career. In this world of VUCA today, which is highly volatile, complex, uncertain, ambiguous, there is change happening across the board. And change is the only inevitable thing today. Changes are happening across as we speak. The world is changing. Nations are changing. Organizations are changing. The tariff war, geopolitical stuff is forcing nations to change. They change with the relationship which they have with the outside world. Customer expectation, go-to-market expectation is forcing the organization to evolve their own strategy. There is a change in the organization. Not only this, individuals like you and me are going through the change to see what makes it relevant for future. So change is the constant thing, and we don't control this change. In most of the situation, we don't control the change. So what I'm going to talk today is a mindset to enable us to manage change effectively. And that mindset is a mindset of leap. Leap with a 3E. And every E in this represents a mindset. Starting with the first E, it's all about embrace. Embrace the change. That is a statement which we must have heard quite a lot. Why? Because we don't control the change. We control the response to the change. And our response to the change determines us as well as the outcome. Let me take the analogy of what's happening in the world today. With this whole tariff war happening around us, nations are embracing the change. They understand they may not be able to control it. So most of the nation are embracing the change and looking into what do they control. They control the response, not the change. Another analogy when it comes to giving a perfect example of embracing the change is from cricket. The famous sports icon, Virat Kohli, is a perfect example of embracing the change. Starting his professional journey back in 2008, Virat Kohli has started his career with a bang. But somewhere in 2012, he had one of the worst years in his professional career. And that was a moment when he understood, when he realized that the dynamics of cricket around him, the international standards for cricket are changing. His fitness level was not up to the mark of an international sports icon. His agility in terms with saving the run, scoring that boundary or fielding was not equivalent to what an international sports icon has to have. And that forced him to think that there is a change which he has to initiate. And he embraced the change. He focused on his fitness level, and we see Virat Kohli today, and what we have seen him after 2012 is a different person altogether, a different sports personality altogether. In the last 15 to 17 years, he scored more than 500. He actually played more than 500 matches and made us proud of him. That's a perfect example of embracing the change. The second E in the leap mindset is evolve. What brought organizations, individual or nation to where they are today, that is not going to take them to the next level. The fact that we understand there is a change which is happening, we embrace the change, doesn't yield any outcome until we evolve through it. We cannot become what we want to become by remaining who we are. Let me take another analogy from cricket. Back in November 23, Indian cricket team in ICC World Cup had a winning streak. 10 out of 10 matches, we won. But we lost the finals. The fact that the team has been winning 10 out of 10 matches were not sufficient for them to win the finals. And that is where the evolution has to come in. What brought us here will not take us to the next level. The third E in the mindset of leap is about elevate. Knowing there is a change coming our way, embracing the change, evolving through it is great. But who has to do that? This has to be done by individual people like you and me. And what elevate mindset requires is to challenge status quo in terms with the skills which we have, in terms with the learning we are doing. Are we learning enough to be future ready? Are we embracing the change to make changes in our own skill set which makes us relevant for tomorrow? That's the challenge, that's the question which we have to ask each other. That's the elevate portion, which is the most important out of the leap mindset and among all the 3E. So I'll conclude this. One can achieve the leap you're looking for by embracing the change with confidence, with the grit which we have, evolve through with a purpose, a passionate purpose. And when we are evolving through it, we find the better version of ourselves through elevate. That's what is leap.